Seriously? A list video? We've never done a list video. Why are we doing a list video? Format change or broadening brand appeal or something. I really wasn't paying attention when Raul told us what this week's topic was. So how does this work? I mean, usually we argue about a topic. That's what I'm comfortable with. Fighting. Good old American reactionary fighting. Well, I guess there's gonna be some sort of countdown graphic thingy, and then we each give a reason why nerd culture is extinct. But nerd culture isn't extinct. In fact, it's thriving. It's just different. Like, unrecognizably different. Like, if 15-year-old me could see the movie lineup for the Marvel movies planned over the next 10 years, he would literally fill his pants with crap and pass out. It's more than thriving, it's taking over the world like a frickin' virus. Everybody claims to be a nerd now. Oh, like religion used to do back in the stupid ages. Exactly. Man, those were the days. So, what did you mean by a countdown graphic thingy?
Number 4.
That's one. That was pretty cool, with the fire and the whoosh and the deep voice dude. Makes this stupid topic seem relevant somehow. Yeah, seem relevant. Has anyone else noticed that these list videos are never about something important? Like what? I don't know, like top 5 things you can do to lower your cholesterol, or top 10 ways you can help a hungry child, or top 7 ways you could do anything else other than watching a list video. It's always crap like, top 5 reasons nerd culture is extinct? Yeah, I mean, who cares? It's not. Not really. It's just changed. Changed forever. Well, apparently lots of people care because list videos are super popular. Now, who's gonna go first? Nobody? Good, then it's me. The number 4 reason nerd culture is extinct is because all of the nerds died after the Star Wars Episode 3 premiere. They all hung themselves with Jedi robes or something. This is easy. Okay, no, and nerd culture isn't extinct. It's just gone mainstream. The biggest movie blockbusters are superhero movies, and the biggest shows on TV are all based on comics or horror or sci-fi. Breaking Bad isn't in any of those genres. The lead character was a chemistry teacher who turned into a murderous drug-dealing badass. It's the ultimate nerd fantasy. So, I guess the number 4 is because what was once considered a subculture is now popular culture? Nerd stuff has become mainstream. And it needs to be stopped. I want to go back to a time when the big budget blockbusters were religious epics like Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments and, Ben-Hur. Was Spartacus about the Bible?
Number 3.
Man, I really hate that. I got number 3. The term nerd no longer means what it used to mean. You can say that again. I remember when I would shout nerds at the dudes at the comic book store. I really felt like I was insulting somebody. Now I just feel old. Yeah, nerd just means enthusiast now. Even sports enthusiasts are calling themselves nerds. So does that make you a sex nerd? I guess so. I prefer carnal provocateur. No matter how many times you insist I call you that, I'm not going to call you that. I guess you can say that nerds really reclaimed a term that used to be an insult. So if nerd means something positive now, what do we call the socially awkward introverts who like stuff that isn't popular? Do we have to come up with a pejorative term for them? Yes, I fully support a class system, and I demand that we have a term for those people who fall outside of our popular social trends. I like dweeb. It's an old word that needs to make a comeback and has a really good mouthfeel. Dweeb. I thought a dweeb was a boring, socially inept person. If the meaning of nerd can change from weirdos who like to collect toys and have imaginary girlfriends to somebody who likes something a lot, then the meaning of dweeb can change too.
Number 2.
Okay, I know what number 2 should be. Nerd culture has been commercialized. Man, you can say that again. Back in the day, just to get cool merch, you had to go to conventions and stuff, and even then you were lucky to find anything worth having. I remember being so proud that I had purchased the entire original Doctor Who series on VHS. They were bootlegs with poorly drawn slipcovers, and they cost me a fortune. Now, not only can I watch the entire series for free online, but I can buy Doctor Who blankets, spatulas, toys, replicas, and not crappy fan-built stuff either. or kids, but mass-produced stuff. Are you complaining? 'Cause it kinda sounds like you're complaining. Kinda. I mean, when nerds were nerds, the crappy stuff you got at conventions were actually kind of rare and unique. It gave you great nerd cred if you had a, production script from Star Trek, the original series, or a screen-used qubit from Battlestar Galactica. Now you can just buy replicas. And the real stuff now goes up for auction at prices too steep for even the hoopiest of froods. Oh, Jason just said something I don't understand at all. He's slipping into a deeper pocket of nerdism. I can't help it. It happens when I get nostalgia depressed. You miss the old days when nerds would gather in the dingiest of banquet halls that the Holiday Inn had to offer to purchase overpriced paraphernalia? Yes. No. I don't know.
Number 1.
Well, I guess number 1 is left to me. Great. Is there anything else? We pretty much covered everything. Yeah, nerds are now enthusiasts. Nerd stuff is now mainstream and commercialized. Done and done. No, there's one more thing, and I'm old enough to know what it is. Then you better spill it so that we can go home. Okay, now, I'm not proud of this, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but nerd culture has become more inclusive. What do you mean inclusive? It means women and minorities. You are saying that back in the day, nerd hordes were mostly white dudes. At one time, yes, there were not a lot of women or people of different ethnic backgrounds present at conventions and stuff. So you're a bunch of racist misogynists. I knew it. No, we weren't. It was just the demographics at the time. Nerds were mostly guys and mostly white. Not because we had some sort of code or anything. There were women at conventions back in the 1980s. They were as rare as fluorescent green mechanostriders, but they were there. Jason has stopped making sense. Anyone care to translate for me? I think all that happened was that as nerd culture spread on the internet, many people who felt that they were alone in their love of things like sci-fi or comic books discovered that they weren't. Namely, women and people from different ethnic backgrounds. Closet nerds as well felt more comfortable admitting to love of nerd stuff online. As this happened, nerd culture expanded to include more things and people. Yeah, that. Nerd culture didn't go extinct, it just evolved into what it is today. A broader, more inclusive culture. It's not perfect, and sure, there will be people who feel threatened by the expansion of what used to be small and private. But on the plus side, we got an Avengers movie. And the nerd arguments haven't gone away. They've just become more epic. That's true. In the old days, it would usually be a heated discussion about whether Superman or the Hulk was stronger. Now those fights happen all over the internet. What do you guys think? Is nerd culture extinct? Or has it grown and evolved into something bigger and better than it was before? And don't you guys think that dweeb needs to make a comeback? 'Cause I do. You bunch of dweebs. Man, it just feels good coming out of my mouth. Hey, we forgot about how the perception and portrayals of nerds in popular media has changed. In the past, they were like Urkel on Family Matters. That's true. Science-living nerds used to be the butt of jokes in movies and TV, but now they're guys like Tony Stark and Iron Man. Tony Stark is not a nerd. He is my hunky fantasy man who I would marry if Raoul should ever die in a horrible accident. Tony Stark is the ultimate nerd! He's a genius who makes awesome hardware and is a hit with all the ladies! So Batman is a nerd too, then. He's an inventor and a genius and stuff. Maybe. Oh, you know who's totally a nerd? Sherlock Holmes, especially the Benedict Cumberbatch version. Okay, are you trying to ruin all of my fantasy second husbands? Well, he is an antisocial genius who thinks he's smarter than everyone else and who has trouble making and maintaining friendships. Well, if you think about it, all the CSI shows are just a bunch of sexy forensic nerds with guns. The first CSI's main character was a nerdy dude who collected bugs. Don't forget the Big Bang Theory. Fuck that show. But they're nerds who all have hot girlfriends and social disorders. I said, fuck that show. Namely, women and people of different ethnicities. Namely, women and people of Yeah, that. Nerd culture didn't go extinct, it just evolved into what it is today. A broader, more inclusive culture. Thanks, ambulance! Go fuck yourself. Hurry up. But on the plus side, we got an Adventures movie.